Coming up on Messenger, today we'll explore the final part of Jonah's story. When God caused the tree to wither, Jonah became upset, but this moment revealed just how much God cares for us. We'll also hear from Naomi Zita in our Pathfinder segment as she shares a hands-on activity to deepen our understanding of God's love. Then we'll have two powerful interviews. Bradley Lipman will talk about the incredible youth ministry group Light at College Park Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ontario. And Pastor Pedro Torres will share the story behind the Ile Ekri Media Ministry and its impact over the last 50 years. Stay tuned for an inspiring and faith-filled episode. Hello and welcome to Messenger. I'm Adriana and I'm so glad you're here for another episode of Hope and Encouragement. Today, we're diving into the final chapter of Jonah's story. After delivering God's message to Nineveh, Jonah witnessed their repentance. But instead of rejoicing, Jonah struggled with his own emotions. When God caused the tree that shaded Jonah to die, Jonah became upset. In Jonah 4, verses 10 and 11, God says, "You have been concerned about this plant, though you did not tend it or make it grow. And should I not have concern for the great city of Nineveh, in which there are more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left?" This moment shows us how deeply God cares for every person. His compassion extends to all of his creation, reminding us that his love is greater than we can imagine. Today, we'll reflect on this powerful lesson and how it applies to our lives. From Pathfinders exploring God's love to impactful ministry work through Light and Ile Ekri, there's so much to learn and be inspired by. Let's get started. First, let's join Naomi Zita in our Pathfinder segment. Naomi is here to share a fun and meaningful activity that will help us better understand the depth of God's love. Over to you, Naomi.
Hi, Pathfinders, welcome back. Today, we're continuing Jonah's story, and this part might surprise you because it's about a tree. Yes, a tree, and how God used it to teach Jonah an important lesson about compassion and trust. We're also going to connect this to the tree honor and learn about some really cool leaves. So let's get right into it. Remember when Jonah finally obeyed God and went to Nineveh? He told the people to repent, and they actually listened. They turned from their bad ways, and God chose not to destroy the city. You'd think Jonah would be happy about that, right? No, instead he was upset. Jonah didn't think the people of Nineveh deserved God's forgiveness, and he got angry. Jonah left the city and sat down in the blazing sun to sulk. But that's when God did something amazing. He caused a plant, or small tree, to grow up quickly and give Jonah shade. And Jonah was so happy to have that shade. But the next day, God sent a worm to eat the plant, and it withered and dried up. Jonah was so upset about losing the tree that he said he wanted to die. Then God asked Jonah a question. "Is it right for you to be angry about the plant?" Jonah agreed, yes, it was right. But God reminded him that if he cared so much about a tree that lasted only one day, how much more should God care about the people of Nineveh? They were his creation too. This part of Jonah's story teaches us about God's love and compassion, not just for us, but for everyone. God used a simple tree to help Jonah understand his mercy, and it's a reminder to us to trust God's plan, even when it doesn't make sense to us. Now let's talk about trees. Not only are they beautiful to look at, they're also super important for the world. Trees give us oxygen to breathe, shade to cool us, and food to eat. And just like the tree in Jonah's story, they can teach us about God's care and creativity. To earn the tree honor, one of the requirements is to collect and identify typical leaves from 15 different species of trees. You'll press them, dry them, and mount them neatly in a notebook or on a sheet of paper, labeling each one. Today, I'm going to share 5 cool leaves to inspire you to get started. First up is the maple leaf. Now, the maple leaf is famous in Canada. It's even on our flag. Maple trees are known for their bright red and orange leaves in the fall. They also give us maple syrup, which comes from their sap. It is very yummy, especially on pancakes. Next, we have the oak leaf. Now, the oak leaf is pretty easy to recognize because of its rounded lobes. Oaks are some of the oldest and strongest trees. Plus, their acorns are food for animals like squirrels and deer. Now, moving on to the sycamore leaf. Now, the sycamore leaves are big and broad, with 5 lobes that make it look like a giant hand. These trees can grow really tall, and their leaves are great for providing shade on a hot day. In the fall, sycamore leaves turn bright yellow, adding a pop of color to any landscape. Here's an interesting one. This is the banana leaf. It is super large, sometimes as long as 9 feet. That's taller than a basketball player. People in tropical countries use banana leaves to wrap food, make roofs, or even use them as plates. Last but not least, we have the redbud leaf. The redbud leaf is shaped like a little heart. In the spring, redbud trees are covered with bright pink flowers, making them one of the prettiest trees to see. Here's a fun craft to get you started on your tree honor. Let's press a leaf. You'll need a few fresh leaves, wax or parchment paper, and a heavy book. I'm just using paper leaves to demonstrate today, but you will need to find real leaves for your book. So here are the steps. Number 1, find a leaf that looks clean and fresh. Number 2, place that leaf between 2 sheets of wax or parchment paper. And number 3, put the paper with the leaf inside a big, heavy book. Leave it in for a few days, and the leaf will dry flat and stay preserved. Jonah's story reminds us that God can use anything, even a tree, to teach us about his love and compassion. Trees are such a beautiful part about God's nature, and learning about them through the tree honor can help us appreciate them even more. As you collect leaves and study different trees, remember Jonah's story. Just like Jonah cared about the tree, God cares even more about every person he's created. And just like the trees give us shade and shelter, God gives us his love and protection every day. So, Pathfinders, let's get started on that tree honor and discover the amazing trees God has made. Until next time, keep growing in faith and appreciating the wonders of his creation.
Thank you, Naomi, for that wonderful activity. It's amazing to see how Pathfinders are learning about God's love in such creative ways. Next, we'll hear from Bradley Littman in our Fresh Face segment. Bradley is involved with Light, a youth ministry group at College Park Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ontario. He's here to share how Light is making a difference in the lives of young people. Bradley, welcome to Messenger. We're so glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Can you share with us what Light stands for and its mission within the College Park Seventh-day Adventist Church?
Yeah, of course. So Light stands for Love Inspires Truth Empowers. And so our goal as the young group, the young adults at College Park Church, our job is to go out into the community and even in College Park Church itself and bring the youth closer to God and share about the gospel of what God has done for us.
That's great. What inspired you to get involved with Light, and how has it shaped your faith journey?
So back in March of 2022, I was attending the Light services, and during that time we had like a good 15 to 20 people coming. But as summer came to an end, everyone kind of went away for school, and so we ended up just having 4 members. And so James Bannister, the current leader of Light, was the only one in charge of the whole everything. So he was doing all the social events, he was doing all the outreach, he was doing all the Vespers, all the Sabbath schools.
Wow.
So it was a lot on him. So I've known James since I was in grade 5, and so when I saw that this was happening, I decided to ask him if he wanted any help with any of this stuff. And so he said, sure. And I said, I'm willing to lead out in the social activities. And so from that day on, I was in charge of the social activities, and then later on, eventually doing the outreaches too. And so we've done bowling, We've done paintballing for some of the socials. For outreaches, we've made signs and gone around to people just kind of holding up the signs like honk if you love Jesus, but not like that stuff, but along the lines of that. And then we've also gone to help out Durham Outlook for Feed the Need, just down in downtown Oshawa. We've gone there multiple times to just help people, interact with them. And actually, coming up this January, we're having an outreach where we are doing a movie night to raise funds to help out for an animal shelter.
Oh, wow. That's so nice. Can you walk us through some of the activities Light organizes to engage youth and young adults?
Yes, so Light has our Vespers nights every Friday night, and we typically talk about events that are important for youth, and not just important for youth, but also still important throughout the entire Bible, because we want to make sure that we can imply that into people's lives. And so the current topic we're actually talking about is, what is it like to be a Christian? And so we've already had our first week of that, and so coming this next Friday, we'll be having our second week of that. But I think it's a good topic that people are interested in. And then for Saturdays, we have our normal Sabbath school, where the leaders of Light will usually lead out for Sabbath school. We try to typically have an outreach once a month, if not once every 2 months, where we'll go out and we'll just do community service, or we'll do a fundraiser or something, just so we can share about God.
That's amazing. How do you ensure these activities are both fun and spiritually meaningful for the participants?
So what I've learned through many different friends and stuff like that, I learned that connection is important. And so I have tried, and other leaders in the group chats have tried to reach out to people personally to have that connection with them. Because if you kind of just have a group chat or a postal board and you're just like, hey, we're doing this, but you never actually invite people, I tend to notice that we only get maybe like 2-3 people coming. But if we actually make out that connection and be like, hey, how are you doing? How's life been? Oh, we're doing this thing. I don't know if you'd be interested in, but you're more than welcome to come. If you want, you can bring friends. And then it's not even just people of the church. We also try to invite people outside church too, because obviously that's the end goal, to try and reach people who don't know about God, to share about God. And so through that way, we're able to get people to come to our social events. And then during the social events, we just typically hang out and have fun, but we also have a spiritual side to it. We're not just going out like most friends of the world who just go out and they party and they drink or whatever. We still go out and we party, but we occasionally have those interactive conversations and try to tie in spiritual stuff into them.
Can you share a story or moment when you saw a young person's life impacted by being part of Light?
So I generally know that we had this one friend, well, current friend, but he was new to College Park Church, and where he came from, he didn't really have many friends because he, I forget exactly where he's from. I think it was, no, never mind, I'm not going to bother saying that. Yeah, but where he came from, Seventh-day Adventists were frowned upon, and so he didn't really have friends growing up. So when he discovered College Park Church through one of the online services we had during COVID time, eventually when COVID was over, he came. And we were all super friendly with him. We welcomed him. And he eventually did get baptized within that year of joining. And so he has talked to me multiple times on how he says that just being here and interacting with Light has made him a lot happier. He feels like he's part of a family, and he feels like he has a lot of friends. So.
That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a real community that Light has. Mm-hmm. Why do you think it's important to have groups like Light in the church, especially for younger members? Well,
I know that a lot of the time young kids and young adults are more so just forced to go to church because their parents are like, oh, I'm tell you to go just because. And it's like you don't really have a choice. If your parents go, you go. But as we get older, sometimes we don't develop that connection with the church or with God. And so when we eventually reach the age to make our own opinions and our parents allow us to choose, I noticed that a lot of the youth choose to just leave the church entirely. Mm-hmm. And so it's sad because God talks about how the children are the kingdom of heaven. And so it's important for the youth to get involved and to know who God is and to know who Jesus is on a personal level, because we are guaranteed for the future. And so it's very important that we make sure that the youth understand the importance of God in the Bible.
Yes. And how do you see Light contributing to the overall mission of the church?
I feel like we're doing a good job right now. We are still growing from when that whole thing happened of the fallout, but we have been growing. We have connections with other churches. Sometimes we have joint Sabbaths or joint Vespers, and then we always have different like big events going on that other churches hold on, and then so we always make sure that we attend. And it's nice because we get to make connections with other youth from other churches, get their opinions, get their ideas, so we can learn from each other on how we can improve on Light from getting stuff from them and how they can improve from learning from Light.
How can others get involved or support the work Light is doing?
Yes, so we have an Instagram account. It's l.i.t.e@CPC, and what it is it's our it's one of the ways that we have to reach out to the community to show people upcoming events that we have for social events or outreaches. And then our DMs are always open, so if you want to message us on that to join our other form of communication, which is our WhatsApp group, which is the more community-based group where we actually all come together and we can talk and about anything. And then that's also where we let people know about upcoming events, more so that's happening not just within Light, but happening with other churches too.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Bradley, for sharing about the amazing work Light is doing. It's inspiring to see how young people are being engaged and empowered to live out their faith.
Yes.
Our next interview takes us to a ministry that has been impacting lives for decades. Ile Écrit has been a significant part of Adventist ministry in Canada, and we're thrilled to hear more about its journey. Pastor Pedro Torres, welcome to Messenger. We're excited to learn from you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's my pleasure to be with you today.
Can you share the story behind the founding of Ile Écrit and how it became a significant part of Adventist ministry in Canada?
Wow, this goes back to 1974. January 20th, 74. It's the time when the first very program was broadcasted here in Quebec by Georges Herman, Pastor Georges Herman, who passed away 3-4 years ago. And it was the French version of It Is Written, who also started here, I think, in Canada and in the United States. And it was a vision that he had. And this is how it started. And since then, we celebrated just a few weeks ago the 50th anniversary. So it's a good thing. And it has become a very important part of the church life because for many years, how could I say that? The growth of the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Quebec has been difficult. And this was a way to reach out people right where they are at their homes. And since then, we have still been on the antenna, on air. And even nowadays, 50 years later, we still reach out to many and different kinds of people. And we still receive emails and phone calls and letters. So it is very important. So it has become a must, a tool for evangelism here in the region of Quebec. And eventually, I guess this is going to be also a tool for all the French Canadians.
What role has Ile Écrit played in sharing the Bible and connecting with viewers over the past 50 years?
Okay, this is a very interesting story. I think I should need just a whole program, 1 hour, just to explain that. At the beginning, the crew, I'm talking about the 70s, they went to Oshawa, where It Is Written has the studio. You are, guys. And they recorded a whole year in a row in 15 days. But afterwards, they bought a building in Montreal City, close to the Olympic Stadium, just in front of the Botanic Garden. And it has been there for several decades. But eventually, it came up the need of Hope Channel Canada, which needs some French productions, but also Canadian French productions. And this is why we joined, let's say, the team of Hope Channel Canada to produce French Canadian content. But the studio there in Montreal became small, so we needed to move to Quebec City for two main reasons. The first one is a new brand studio where I'm tempted to just turn the camera to show you where I am right now, but let's stay like that so far. And here we have the option of a modularity where we can have different sets, different backgrounds. The background that you see with just two screws, you move them and we can remove the whole thing and put a new studio and create new content with a different brand, but also for Hope Channel Canada. And the second reason is that the main presence of the Seventh-day Adventist Church is in Montreal area, region, where the 80% of the Adventist presence is fitted. The point is that many of the TV viewers who are in the big Quebec region, in the northern Quebec area, who are maybe 12 hours or even 20 hours away from Montreal by car, they couldn't join any small group, any company, any other possibility to study the Bible with someone physically. So that's why we decided, that's the second reason, to move on to Quebec, because from here, we are closer to those northern regions, and it's interesting because now one of my roles is during the weekends. I go to visit these small groups that are starting to pop up in the far north Quebec region. Some of them they have seen just one pastor once a year for many years. Now, since I am here with my crew, all the crew of Hope Channel, and it is written, il est écrit, we start to just visit them once every 2 months, and so the presence is more strengthened, and they feel encouraged, and they feel better to receive those viewers, those people who are watching the TV show, and they decide to join any Adventists in the North region. So it's a double reason.
Can you tell us about the special celebrations held for Il est écrit's 50th anniversary and the impact they had on attendees?
Oh, we have celebrations several times a year, but recently we had the 50th anniversary. That was an event, of course, because this was a must. Not every year you get to you celebrate the 50th anniversary of a production, a TV production that has been on antenna for all those years and it was very, very touching because we could put together all the anchors that we had, but Georges Hermans, because obviously he's not with us anymore. But we had with us José Lissé, who was the following one who stepped in after Georges Hermans. And it was also Remy Ballet and the new anchor, who is Patrick Dupuis. Now you will see, we see both of them, Remy and Patrick, because we are shifting to a new period. And it was very glad to see the TV viewers who are in the Quebec City region area, who were invited and accepted to come over there and to see José Lissé after 10 years or more that he has not been seen on antenna. It was very, very emotional. And that helped us to reattach again, or to how would I say, to foster the knots with the viewers that are there, but they are ashamed. I'm not ashamed. They're shy to show up into a church. And this principle, despite that it has been a bigger event because of the anniversary, we still do it several times a year. We go to different places like northern Saguenay, Alma, cities that are maybe 4 hours away, even northern from Quebec City. That's about 6, 7, 8 hours from Montreal, to meet the people who is watching the TV station, the TV show. And twice a year in different places. Now we are planning in 25 to do it maybe 6 or 8 events all over the north region of Quebec to rent a city hall or a public hall where we meet people. We have some encounters. We let them ask questions and they can meet in person the anchors of the program. And that helps a lot because out of there we have people asking for Bible studies and eventually joining small groups. And finally, just 3 months ago, I had the privilege to baptize one of the viewers, myself, and it was a huge honor. But even after that, the crew has baptized already 4 or 5 more TV viewers in Montreal region.
What message of hope or encouragement would you like to share with viewers who have supported Ile Ekri over the past 50 years?
Well, the message is thanks to you, because God has put in your heart to support ministries like Ile Ekri and Hope Channel, and It Is Written. Many people has been touched by the gospel. The Holy Spirit has used those means, those ministry to reach out to the living rooms of those people who have probably will have never get out of their house, of their home, to go and visit a small group or a church, or not even being baptized at all. So sometimes we may ask, how will it help if I give just $10 or $5, or just give some or any other kind of support? I mean, this is too small. I don't think this is really worth it. It is, because it's thanks to you, because God has put in your heart to do these effort, this even tiny small support. Thanks to you, we have been able to send letters, to produce programs, to pay the TV stations that have been broadcasting, to send Bible studies, to send gifts, to pay the gas of pastors who have been driving 5, 6, sometimes even 10 hours away just to visit one person who has requested. It's thanks to you. Without you, we couldn't have done all of that. Thank you, and keep doing it, please.
Thank you, Pastor Torres, for sharing the story and vision of Ile Ekri. It's incredible to see how this ministry has touched so many lives over the years. As we reflect on Jonah's story, we're reminded of the incredible depth of God's compassion. Just as he cared for the people of Nineveh, God cares deeply for each of us and calls us to extend that same compassion to others. Today's episode has shown us how God's love is reflected in many ways, from Pathfinder activities to youth ministries like Light and impactful programs such as Ile Ekri. If today's discussion has inspired you, consider subscribing to the Canadian Adventist Messenger magazine. You can receive a free subscription through your local Seventh-day Adventist Church in Canada, or opt for a yearly subscription for just $20. You can also make a difference by becoming an agent of hope and supporting this ministry. Your participation helps us continue spreading God's love and message of hope. To donate, visit agentsofhope.ca, where you can give by debit, credit, Apple Pay, or Google Pay. E-transfers are also accepted at agentsofhope@hopetv.ca. You can mail a check payable to Hope Channel Canada to the following address: Hope Channel Canada, 1148 King Street East, Oshawa, Ontario, L1H 1H8. Or give us a call at 1-855-4HOPE-TV. That is 1-855-446-7388. Thank you for being with us today. Keep spreading hope and being a messenger in your community.